Okay, this video is for this car, an 06 SL500. The problem is that the roof doesn't retract. And why would that be? Okay, here's the SL with the trunk open. That is why the roof will not open, the convertible roof. There's little switches in here that interlock. This thing has to be up like that. If you hear that little click, and if it drops down like that, it doesn't allow it to interlock and won't allow the roof to open. Let's take a little bit closer look. So if we see, here's the shaft going across that flap rotates on, and you can see there's a switch here and a switch that's not quite made here. Now it's made, now it's not. Okay, what we want to do is remove this bracket assembly with these three screws here, here, and here. Okay, you can see the switch harness here. There's a cover that you have to take off to expose the switch wires here and coupling. That gives you a little more room. You see the end of the cable here? There's a gear, and this thing flexes out and in. This is a housing that covers right over that, goes up like that, and that gear just extends out and in. Now, interestingly, you can buy a kit from Mercedes that has one of these new covers for like 75 bucks for both the passenger and the driver's side one that's over here, and then about $600 labor to do what we're doing here. Apparently they've issued a warning about these, but it's not covered under warranty. The big culprit I've found in wear is that these bushings, or should I say these bearings, get pretty hard and seize up, and it creates a lot of force that's required to move that gear to flap this thing open and closed. So I recommend lubricating that. I recommend lubricating there and lubricating up under here. You can see the teeth. If you look real close, you can actually see the teeth inside there. I will try to animate this for you so you can kind of envision how it works if you don't already. As this flap moves, see how those gears, you can kind of see how that gear actuates. Problem is this gear, the teeth look in really good shape, just not getting good meshing between the teeth because this gear rides up. It's allowed to float because this housing is worn. It goes on top here. Since it's hanging upside down, it's not getting good contact. So according to the factory, this new piece here is the fix. It's actually kind of a concave casting, so it allows, I guess, over time for this to wear. But what I've done, instead of getting a new one, because I looked at the new ones, and I'm just going to put a little copper bearing on the back side just to make up a little bit of the gap. We'll see how this works. But you might want to just buy this piece and just put it in yourself, because it's really not difficult. Now I find it's much easier if you take the cover off. That's this one on the opposite side, and it snaps on. These little clips all the way around. You just have to be careful. See all those little clips? You just have to be careful not to bust one of them. Mark with pencil where those screws are mounted on the slot, so you can make sure and put it back the same way so it lines up in the pocket good. When you take those 2 screws off, it makes putting it back together a lot easier. Otherwise, this big piece just seems to get in the way. And I think that's why it costs so much at the Benz dealer, because they don't do that, and they end up having to have 2 people, and you're paying for 2 top-end mechanics to put this thing back together. Protect your car here in case something falls off. And have that thing in the complete closed position. This is the open position. Nice and snug. Cover back on. Put that cover on afterwards. Okay. I also want to make sure it's above this, or you won't be able to open it. That's a trick. You got to make sure it's not flipped under there. It'll never open. So make sure you got that bracket on top of the cover there, the felt cover. Let's just go ahead and put some nuts on to hold it. Okay, let's continue putting this thing back together. I put the cover back over, made the electrical connection back for the switches. Get everything good and tight. It's in the closed position, which is what we want. Let's go ahead and put the bracket on. And make sure I get this oriented right. There we go. So let's get it lined up. matched up with my marks. Everything looks good. Just want to be sure before I snap that back on because it's a pain to get off if everything isn't right. Alright, I spent a few minutes just checking everything over, lubing up the joints, lubing up the gears. Let's snap this cover back on. I guess test it out. Definitely want to clean everything up. Done here. Okay. There's no longer a sag. Both sides look tight. Switch is made. Next step, let's test it. Okay, that seemed to work. Hopefully it'll be a long-term fix. Start, so definitely you want to lube here. Throw some chain lube down there to keep everything nice and lubed, wipe off the excess. Same on this side. I don't know if that's part of the Schedule A or Schedule B, I doubt it. But on any of the retractable top models, that's probably going to help you a lot.